Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Investor Evolution Podcast. I'm your host, Kimberly Hoyt. I am so glad you're here today. This past week, I have been working on a goal achievement workshop, and it was supposed to be an hour or so a day, but it's taken me a lot because it is a lot of reflection. And I wanted to share with you a little bit about what I've been diving into because I think it might be helpful for you as well, especially as we're heading into the second half of this year and maybe you haven't accomplished what you were hoping to by now, and you're not sure if you're going to be able to accomplish this year what you thought you would. Maybe you feel like, I don't really know how to set those goals. I don't really know how to get where I want to go. I've been in that place. I'm very good at relationships and connecting with people, but laying out a plan and figuring that out is tedious to me. And this workshop was really cool because it forced you. It forced you to go through and really look at your life and especially your goals with business in a very structured and formulated way, which works really well for me, right? I love science, so that it feels very systematic and scientific. And first, it had you review. It had you go back and look over the last 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, and think about what were your big wins, what big challenges that you came across, and then what were the lessons that you learned. Then it had you look back at the last 12 months, big wins, big losses, challenges, those kind of things, and take stock of what was really important in your life. It had you look and rate different areas of your life, such as like health. What did that look like? How much effort did you put into it? And what was the outcome? So on a scale of 1 to 10, how much effort did you put in? And on a scale of 1 to 10, how good was that outcome? So in everything from health to business, your career, family life, relationships, social, hobbies, all kinds of things, spiritually. A couple of the things that had you look at is, in the past year, what were the 5 big accomplishments? What were the 5 biggest challenges? And why? Why were they challenges? Was it a failure of, like, you didn't get the outcome that you wanted? Was it a failure of strategy? You may have wanted this to happen, but you didn't really have a plan to do it. So did you not have a strategy moving forward that you could follow? Maybe it was a failure of execution. Maybe you just didn't do it. Maybe the way you thought you could just didn't work out and we need to restructure. What I love about this is when you actually go back and look, it's really incredible the things that I learned about myself and about this past year, what was working, why it was working, what wasn't working, and why it wasn't working. So I know how to change that moving forward. Probably around the beginning of the year or the end of this year, we will do this in much more depth and detail so that we can plan out the next 12 months and really build a plan for 2025. But because I was going through this right now, it just was really on my heart and something I've been thinking about quite a bit over the last 3 to 4 days. The next section was having you go through gratitude practices. What were some of the top 10 moments that you're grateful for this past year? What are those moments that you want to remember? Those tender, special moments that you want to remember for this past year? What are the things in your life that gave you the most energy? What are the things that took away the most energy? There was a lot more for that first day that it went through. And then day 2 was a lot of visualization. And this is kind of where I'm at. And I think there's 2 more days I got to go through, but it's a lot to think about and it can feel emotionally draining because you're really having to look in those kind of corners, those, open those closets, clean out the cobwebs of the things that maybe you don't want to look at because they didn't go the way that you wanted to. They didn't proceed in the manner that you anticipated. and you're frustrated by it. But if we don't look at it and learn from it and see what went well, what didn't, you're probably going to have the same results. And guys, I am speaking to myself because this is where I've been. I've had things that I've wanted to do and planned for, but it just never happened. And I do think because I didn't take time to really assess why. What was I doing that was working? What was I doing that was a waste of time that didn't help move the needle at all in the business? So I think this is really important. And today what I wanted to talk to you about was this day of envisioning. And I think we'll go through this exercise because it's really powerful. One thing I want you to think about, and you can get out pencil and paper and you can start and stop this and write this down, because I think you're going to find a lot of power in this, especially if you see yourself as like, I have these big goals, I have these dreams, these things that I want to do. And if you're like me, I've been in this place where like I have these dreams and these goals and I just feel like my wheels are spinning and I'm not there. So we're going to do some stuff. We're going to leverage your future self and kind of some of those pain points that we have. So what I want you to do is maybe even close your eyes for a minute. And I want you to think about where you're at right now. What's going on in your life, in your business. And I want you to think in 3 to 5 years, what if nothing changed? What if you were still in the exact same place that you are today? How would that feel? What if you didn't move forward towards those goals at all, and you were stuck in the same place in 3 years, in 5 years, in 10 years, in 20 years? If in 20 years you were in the same place, it's like Groundhog Day, right? Just staying in the same place. How does that make you feel when you visualize that? What kind of pain are you feeling if you hit an age like, I don't know, in 10 years I'd be 54, 64, and 20, 74, and 30. How would I feel if my dreams that I have, the things that I want to accomplish, I never accomplish them? How does that make me feel in my body? How does that make you feel when you think about that? How does that make you feel in your body, physically, emotionally? What does that do for you? What does it feel like if this never happens for you? If those dreams, those goals, those big aspirations that you have never happen? What do you think friends, family would say about you if you were the one trying to inspire them to achieve your dreams, but you actually didn't achieve your dreams at all? How would they look at you? How would they feel about that? I want you to imagine yourself 20 years in the future and you're in that same place. And what would your advice be worth to someone else who has big dreams? And maybe the same dreams that you had. What would your advice be worth to them? The next thing I want you to think about is if in 10, 15, 20 years from now, you're in the same place, you do not accomplish those goals, what will you have missed out on? What experiences will you not get to have? What adventures do you not get to go on? What friendships do you not get to develop? What relationships do you not get to evolve in because you stayed the same? What does that feel like? Do you feel that pain? Do you feel that loss? Because for me, this was powerful. And it made me physically hurt and feel like that pit in my stomach of, if I don't achieve this, like how am I going to look at myself in the mirror, right? If I don't go for these goals. I want you to ask this question. What kind of person has these amazing dreams, but is never able to achieve them in reality? Another question to think about, what would this cost you financially if you don't achieve these goals and these dreams? Would you be able to live with yourself if the dream of your life never happened? How does that feel when you start imagining that and picturing that and thinking about that? Like, what does that feel like in your body? How does that make you feel? So this is what I've been writing. Guys, I ran out of my little journal and I had to start a new one, and pages and pages and pages of writing this stuff down, of how I felt, what it would look like, how I would feel about myself, how others would feel about me. And sometimes we need that pain to propel us forward. Sometimes we need that pain and that feeling of regret and disappointment and discouragement to actually say, I'm not going to sit in that. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go for my dreams. So that's one thing that I thought was really powerful. Now, we're going to flip this. So we've dove into that pain, how would this hurt you? How would it, affect your confidence, your self-esteem? If you weren't able to accomplish those goals. Now, I want to shift us, right? So we're in this point of pain, but we don't want to sit there. We do not want to be there. So now I want you to imagine, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years in the future, wherever you're at, and you've done it. You've accomplished all of those goals and more. And you have, exceeded even your expectations of what you were hoping to do when you set out on your journey, whatever that might have been, whether it's in real estate, whether it's in other things. And we don't have to talk just about business, right? This is financially, this is emotionally, spiritually, relationship-wise, with your family, with your kids, with your spouse, all of this stuff. So think about now, you are at the end of your life, this rocking chair moment on your porch, and you've done it. You've accomplished everything that you wanted. And you can look back at those dream boards that you've done, and you've accomplished everything on those dream boards. You achieved the income that you were hoping for. You had a vision of a dream house in your mind, and you're sitting on that porch right now, on that back porch, in your rocking chair. This is the realization of your dreams. You got to take the amazing vacations that you were hoping to. You got to explore the world and go on so many amazing trips. You have the most amazing friends and family that are surrounding you, that you got to know and build relationships with, that helped you in your business, and you got to help them with their goals, and together you helped raise each other up. How does that feel when you think about that? When you think about what life will feel like, look like, be like. How will you walk in that environment when you have accomplished everything you set out and more, right? Because you set out on a path and a lot of times it shifts and it grows and you see it bigger. So I want you to see it bigger. How big is that life that you've lived? And how amazing does that feel? Do you have a sense of satisfaction compared to that sense of disappointment that you had when you didn't accomplish it? Do you have a sense of satisfaction, of pride, of joy, of peace? How do you feel? How does that feel in your body when you think of that? Totally different feelings, right? So I want you to think about that pain that you had when you didn't accomplish anything. And the feelings that you had. And I want you to look at that and I want you to shift it to what would it feel like when you accomplish it all, when you get to where you want to go, to that destination that you've set. And now I want you to think about if you were on your deathbed and your younger self, your now present day self, was there and you've accomplished everything, all the goals that you have. You went through it all. You went through the hard times, but you persevered. You stuck with it and you were able to create that dream life that you thought about every day and you went for it and you accomplished it. You accomplished those goals and so much more, and you're on that deathbed. What advice would you now give to yourself, to your younger self, who's in that place of, I have these dreams, I have these goals, and I want to do it? What would you tell them, or what would you tell yourself? At that point, what advice would you give to yourself so that you achieve those goals? That you speak into your present self from the future. You speak into yourself what you need to hear. What would you say to yourself? I'll read to you what I wrote, because I wrote a lot. But for me, I think looking at it from that perspective of where you want to be and looking back and it's about bringing that knowledge and that feeling back from where you could be, bringing it to the present self and saying, I'm getting there because I don't want to be in that other side where I didn't accomplish anything. So what advice would my future self give to my present day me? Pick a goal and stick with it. Become a master at it. Learn all you can. Work hard, but do not work at the expense of your family. Take the moments to love on your boys and spend time with them. It goes by way too fast. When there are challenges in your path to your goals, slow down. Take it one step at a time, but do not stop. Your most amazing life is on the other side of those obstacles. You need to overcome them in order to level up to the person that you are meant to be. Don't stop. You are resilient. You are strong. You are brave. No one will do the work for you. You are capable of this and so much more. Stay close to God and He will stay close to you. He will see you through all the tough times. He will bring into your life all that you can ask for and imagine, and He will bring into your life incredibly more than all you ask or imagine. Don't worry about when it will come, but trust that it will come because He has plans to prosper you and not harm you. He will give you a hope and a future. Trust in Him and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, submit to Him, and He will make your path straight. By you going after your dreams, you make it possible for others to go after theirs. If you quit or stop because you're scared, that would limit others from getting their goals and their dreams. It is your job, your duty, your responsibility to live this life as big and as bold as possible to fulfill the purpose that God has for you. Don't be selfish or scared. You have the power of heaven on your side. And there is nothing and no one that can stop you. Go out, stay true to what you want and what you ask God for, and it will be yours, and it will be more incredible than you ever dreamed. You are amazing. You have so much to give. Your energy and vibrancy will attract everything and everyone to you that is needed for your success. Go out and shine your light for the whole world to see. In doing so, you will see the amazing ripple effect as you light up the lights of others. You were meant to shine. So do it with all your heart and all the enthusiasm you have, and let God take care of the rest. It will be incredible to watch. And I think as we think about this more, we will gain more insights from that future self, right? I mean, this is the first time I've really done this, guys. And like reading that and thinking like, okay, if I'm looking back and telling myself this is what I would need to hear, like that's powerful to me. So I would encourage you, take some time to think about this. Think about what would happen, what it would feel like if you don't accomplish your goals. Then think about what it would be like if you do, and take that advice. Take that, that wisdom, that clarity that you have from the future, from your future self, and bring that into the present, and you will start seeing what you're doing differently, right? When I wrote down, like, if I don't accomplish my goals, it makes it impossible for others to accomplish theirs. I have a purpose. I have a plan for my life. There is one for my life. And if I don't go for it, that affects others. And that's a hard one too, right? Like that responsibility of it is big. So I hope this is helpful for you guys. I hope you can take this minute in, this time in the middle of the year, right? To look at your future, to look at even just the next 6 months. What are you going to accomplish? What are you working for? And strive for it. It's going to be what you make of it, so make it amazing. Thank you guys so much for tuning in this week. I know this was kind of a lot and a lot of thought, but I encourage you to take the time this week to do this exercise and really think about what your future self, what advice you have for yourself so that you get to those goals. Now, if you have found this helpful, please share this episode. I appreciate that so much if you're able to share this with others who might benefit from this little exercise and more. So thank you so much in advance for sharing it. I look forward to chatting with you guys next week. Until then, have a great week.